Hey, I'm a trans woman. Listen to me roar. Meow. All right, so guess what? I got my first reaction from a white guy. Cishet, middle-aged, probably a MAGA man. So sad. Somebody who is a secondary character in my everyday life. I knew the second I got into the same building with him today, I knew he had seen my videos and was not pleased. I didn't even need to use deductive reasoning to know that, because at first I wasn't sure who it was. I'm going to put links at the end of this video to a couple other videos I've already made, like the one about how I have how hate feels to me as an intensely empathic person. Well, as soon as I set foot in the building today, I could almost smell the hate coming off of somebody somewhere. It's hard to describe, but I'll put a link to that video so I don't fumble with trying to explain it again. But it was more like a seventh sense. It almost has that hot fuzz smell, that feedback noise, scribble, scratch, just the smell of hate, the sound of hate, the feel of hate, the seventh sense impression of what hate does when it fills up another spirit's container. And I knew when I came to the building today that there was another container filled with hate, and it was directed entirely at me because he did not approve of what I've been doing. Not a single word was exchanged out loud. It doesn't need to be anymore. This is getting really, really, really intense for me. These experiences, these things that keep happening. So it gets better. I decided in the course of the day of moving around the place, I realized where it was coming from. And then I figured, I was like, that tracks. That figures. So I wasn't too surprised. But what scares me is when I move nearer to this man. I mentioned this in another video with these psychic experiences I'm having. Sometimes I think people are talking out loud, and then I realize they didn't say that out loud. I just picked up on it. And it was like this. Once I narrowed it down and I knew where the hate was coming from, which container. Well, when I got closer to him, he locked eyes on me and said, "N-word lover." I'm not going to say the N-word, but that's what he said to me, loud and crisp and clear. N-word lover. He didn't say it out loud. I thought he did at first. It was that clear in my head. I was like, and then I realized he didn't say it out loud. But I got the message loud and clear. I hear words, I see, hear, I don't have the words for it, like whatever it is. Seventh sense, psychic impression, I don't know what to call it, but I just know. He looked right at me and he thought those words. He said them without opening his mouth, and I got the message. So, haters, you got to realize what you're doing to me. You have put me in a situation where I am living in fear every day. And you see how I react to that. Because I'm the kind of person that when you put hate and fear on them, they respond with love and positive qualities. And I'm trying to live my best life the more people hate me, in hopes that they'll stop hating me and recognize that I'm not hateable. But for a man like that, it's never going to work. It's just not going to work. I'm never going to change him. And I know that for certain because later in this day, I got closer to that man again in the course of my day. And he said something else to me without using his mouth. I heard the words loud, cold, and clear. Race traitor. That's what I picked up off of him the second time today. Ordinarily haters, it seems lately, when I'm getting these intense experiences of the empathic experiencing of someone else's hate. They don't usually say words. Most of the time when someone's staring at me or just radiating that level of intense hatred at the sight of me in public, it's getting to the point where I get on the bus and I don't have to turn around. I know that there's somebody 4 seats back to my left wearing a blue shirt who's thinking similar thoughts. For example, I don't have to turn around. I don't have to look at him. I don't have to say, you, I can read your mind. I don't have to. So I'm asking for help from my friends who are more advanced in their use of these abilities. Like I said, it's just coming back to me after many years of being muted. It's coming back to me now. Can somebody teach me how to put a message in their head right back? Because I believe everybody can be telepathic or is telepathic. It's just one of those things most of us either never learned or just forgot how to do. Doesn't mean you can't do it. So he's doing it unintentionally, probably. He doesn't realize that I am hearing him in my head when he looks at me and says those things. I'm afraid of him, so I'm not going to tell him. I don't want to talk to him. I'm scared of him. He's the kind of white man that scares me that I made the videos about yesterday. I'm not going anywhere near that guy. I don't have to. I know what he's about from a distance. A safe distance, I hope. But can somebody who's a professional psychic or someone who's really adept at the use of telepathy, can you please teach me how to put my words back into his head? Because I don't like hearing that ugliness in my head, in my mind. I want to be able to deal with guys like that by telling them what I think of them and putting it back in their mind. Even if they are not as sensitive as I am. Is there a way to do that? That I can put something right back into him? So that he goes... kind of the way I did when he looked at me and said those things without opening his mouth today. Can someone teach me how to do that? Because I think it'll make the world a better place if I can do that. I hope. If nothing else, it'll shut them down a little bit and make them less afraid. Make them more afraid to ever speak up and open their mouth and say those awful things to people. I hope. But yeah, that's all for now. Much love, especially to the haters. Have a beautiful weekend, everybody. Bye.